to the channel as we discuss U.S. immigration law, hopefully in a way that's easy for you to understand. And today we're talking about U.S. Customs and Border Protection and the authority that they have or may not have to search your electronic devices. And this is whether or not you're a U.S. citizen, a green card holder, or just visiting the United States. And it's important to understand what the limits of their authority is and what rights you have when it comes to searches at a port of entry. So CBP officers have very broad authority that is given to them through the Department of Homeland Security to inspect anyone entering the United States. This not only includes the inspection of the person, but it also includes inspection of anything that they have with them. This includes your electronic devices, such as your phones or your laptops or any tablets that you have. And your luggage, anything that you have with you is subject to search. And this applies to everyone, including U.S. citizens, lawful permanent residents, and visitors. And CBP says that these searches are to help them enforce immigration laws and to prevent crime, obviously, like fraud and smuggling. But it also does raise privacy concerns for those that are traveling to the United States and what those limits of these searches might be. But there are two searches that CBP has the authority to conduct. One of them is a basic search. And in a basic search, a CBP officer could manually review your phone, looking at your messages, your call logs, your social media, photos, and they don't need any special tools to do that, just an unlocked phone. And they also have the authority to do what's called an advanced search. And this is more invasive, and CBP is able to, in this advanced search, copy files, recover deleted information, and use forensic tools to be able to see what you have on your electronic devices. In order to do that advanced search, however, CBP officers must have a reasonable suspicion that you violated a law, and they also need approval from a supervisor for that type of a search. And these inspections can take hours, and CBP can hold on to your device for further review if they deem it's necessary. So why does CBP search your device? Well, some of these are random and some of them are triggered, and it can be triggered by your data in the system. So it could be triggered if you fly or travel frequently. Airlines provide travel information with CBP, and your travel history could trigger a search. CBP also shares databases with the law enforcement agencies. So there could be an alert or a violation or a warrant with your criminal history through violation of the law that triggers one of these searches. And unfortunately, sometimes it can just be a random selection, a random screening, and you could have zero issues and still be searched if you are subject to a random selection. And this applies to law-abiding travelers as well. It doesn't just apply to those violating immigration or criminal laws. So what happens if you refuse one of these searches? Now, if you're a U.S. citizen, CBP cannot deny your entry to the United States because you're a U.S. citizen, but they can confiscate your device and they can delay your travel. If you're a U.S. green card holder or U.S. permanent resident, you will be allowed to enter, but refusal may lead to further questioning and, again, seizure of your device if you refuse to cooperate. Visa holders and visitors to the United States, however, if you do not comply, CBP could outright refuse your entry as well as confiscate your devices. So you need to be careful if you're a visitor to the United States. Your rights are extremely limited, and if CBP wants to pursue further investigation, then they could refuse your outright entry to the United States for failure to comply. And if you refuse search at a place such as Toronto pre-clearance, you may be prevented from boarding your flight to the United States for failure to comply. So in the end, CBP has broad discretion and authority to search your devices, your person, and your belongings when you're coming into the United States. So when you are traveling to the United States, make sure you only bring things with you that are necessary for your travels, And if there is something that's sensitive, maybe it's work product or whatever it might be, that you really don't want to be exposed to searches by the US government, then it's probably best that you do not carry those with you when you're traveling to the United States. But be aware, whether you're a US citizen, a US permanent resident, or somebody coming on a work visa or visitor to the United States, CBP has very broad discretion to search your person, your belongings, and your electronic devices.